Thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week, we talk about politics and about the royals. We end with our weekly feature, The Comments of the Week. The stories, photos, and tweets we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 178. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra, the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So I saw Twisters at the theater. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It felt like a 90s movie in that it was kind of sexist. But I do like Glen Powell. I think you'll come around on him. I think he's a real movie star. Daisy Edgar-Jones was kind of meh. And Anthony Ramos was just okay, too. Like, she doesn't have a real presence, but I think Glen Powell definitely does.
Yeah, I'm still not on the Glen Powell hype train, but maybe I'll get there eventually.
Have you seen him in anything?
Yeah, I've seen him in some stuff. I'm not saying he's, like, evil or bad or anything. I'm just saying, like, I don't buy that he's, like, the next movie star.
Okay, that's fair enough. There's something about him, I do think. I liked him in this, and he was decent in Hitman. He was pretty good. It was just a weird movie. Yeah, I'm glad that he's doing well. Twisters is like, I kind of wish I'd rented it instead of gone to see it at the theater, but it was fine.
Oh, I did want to say I'm really looking forward to the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah, I haven't been watching much of anything since Wimbledon, but I'm really excited about the Olympics and gymnastics and swimming and especially Olympic tennis.
Okay. Who's playing that? Do you know the people who are playing for us on
almost all of the top players are playing except like 2 top 10 players like just dropped out because they were ill or something. Who knows?
Probably COVID. Everybody's getting COVID.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's wrong with either of these 2 players. They just have they are sick all the time. They've been sick most of the year. I'm not going to get into like all of that. But yeah,
tennis
some
drama.
Of my favorites are playing. Like this is going to be Andy Murray's last tournament ever of his career.
Aw.
Rafa Nadal is playing, Daniil Medvedev, and a bunch of the like American girls. Like Coco Gauff is going to hold the flag bearer for Team USA at the opening ceremony. I'm really
and
happy
LeBron
for her.
is coming too.
And LeBron.
Nice.
We've got another dream team for men's and women's basketball.
Excellent. I don't really get into sports, but I'll watch a couple of things, you know.
Gymnastics should be really good.
Yeah, those are really awesome to watch.
But yeah, except for Wimbledon, the past month has just been all about politics.
I gotta say, I didn't put it on our outline, but I found out that the television show 48 Hours has like free episodes on YouTube, so I've been watching them or just listening to them like podcasts as I walk the dog. It's so many white dudes murdering their wives and acting like they didn't do it and talking to the cops like idiots. So I've been watching a lot of those. They're pretty good. I'll link a couple of them in the post for this podcast. It's always white people, but it's I don't know. I just started getting into true crime, but do you ever watch true crime or?
I'll watch it with my mom.
Oh,
she really likes those kind of stories. She likes Snapped. She especially likes a story where a wife kills a husband.
Those are supposed to be good. I'll get into those. I remember we were talking about those before too. All right, let's talk about politics. So last week when we talked on episode 177, Biden was still in the race, but there were calls for him to step down. And we also heard that he had COVID. And some of the top brass in the Democratic Party were calling for him to step down, like including Pelosi and Obama. And then we release the podcast Saturdays, we record on Thursdays. And then on Sunday, July 21st, that was National Ice Cream Day, Biden submitted on social media that he had dropped out of the race and that he wasn't going to run again. And it was weird that he announced it on a Sunday, but I heard like it might have been better for the market because it would have affected the stock market if he announced it on Monday.
I absolutely think it was about the stock market. I agree.
Yeah. And then he endorsed Kamala Harris, which is excellent. And you've been writing about this. The people calling for him to step down, we're advocating for an open convention and voting on the next candidate.
And like specifically, like there was a lot of senior Democratic sources, and the week before Biden stepped down, withdrew from the race, the senior Democratic sources were just starting to be named. Like they were starting to put their names on like the shiv in Joe Biden's back.
Yeah.
Like, senators were like coming out and saying he needs to step down. And like Barack Obama didn't do anything. Like he didn't say anything publicly other than bad debates happen. And then he just like stayed utterly fucking quiet. And all of his former staffers were running around and like they were pretty much the ones pitching this mini primary. Like Biden must step down. Kamala Harris is going to be passed over. We're going to have a mini primary and an open convention. Like that was their half-assed plan, which was basically no plan. It was, we need to get Biden to withdraw from the race and then it'll all work out somehow. And that was actually the point of like George Clooney's op-ed, which was, Biden needs to go and we'll figure it out after that. No, come at me with a fucking plan, because otherwise it was utter chaos, and it made zero sense to pass over Kamala Harris. It made zero sense, and it was actually truly offensive to think that 14 million primary votes were going to be disenfranchised.
Yes.
So, yeah, the whole lead up to Biden's withdrawal was chaotic, and it was infuriating to see Democrats be so disloyal. And, that week before Biden withdrew, people were starting to put the pieces together of what was actually happening behind the scenes. The Democratic donors were freaking the fuck out. They're placing all of these demands on like Pelosi and Schumer and various elected Democrats in Congress.
That's what was reported in the major news sources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a truly unfortunate situation. And I keep thinking like two things simultaneously. One, the Democrats are lucky as hell that Donald Trump has his head up his own ass. Because if the Republican Party of yore was in control right now, Democrats would have to wear these shenanigans until Election Day. The Republicans used to have message discipline. Like if Karl Rove was in charge right now, like it would be Democrats in disarray from here until November. And the media would just hammer that message in. But because Trump is also a chaotic individual and he's a narcissist who was mad that the attention wasn't on him, the Democrats didn't have to deal with all of that. They didn't have to get hit with the tag of, why can't you guys get your shit together?
So the good news is everybody kind of coalesced behind Kamala Harris after Biden's announcement. And by late Monday night, she had enough delegates to secure the nomination.
Yeah.
Since she raised a record $100 million in those 2 days after Biden stepped down, and she got endorsements from so many people. Hi, I'm recording this later. In this next section, we talk about President Obama not yet endorsing Kamala Harris for president. After we recorded early in the morning on Friday, July 26th, Obama endorsed Harris with a video he put on his Twitter where he and Michelle called her and offered support. Now back to my talk with Chandra. Pelosi got on board, the Clintons, all the major Democratic governors, and so many congresspeople and leaders. But as of our recording, it's Thursday, July 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern, Obama hasn't supported her. We're just hearing that he supports her privately and that he will do it soon. He hasn't endorsed her.
What to say about that? Notice how smoothly it went from he'll endorse her at the convention to no, he'll endorse her soon. He's supporting her privately, except that he publicly supported an open convention. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Barack Obama. He needs to stop centering himself. I think that's the biggest thing.
I mean, I like how Hillary did it.
Hillary was fantastic.
She handled it really well.
The Clintons are nothing if not loyal Democrats. I think they've handled this perfectly. The support they were giving to Biden, calming donors, calming senior Democrats, just keeping everything on the lowdown. That was the right way to handle it. And then coming out immediately after President Biden endorsed Harris and saying, yeah, we endorse her too. We love her. We can't wait to support her.
Exactly.
That was exactly what needed to happen across the board.
It's been very heartening to see the support for Kamala. It feels like when Obama was running. And she's just so good and so ready for this job. And I think there's so much groundswell beneath her. Now everybody's like, oh, who she's going to pick as a running mate. We got her first campaign ad. I mean, it made me cry. I gave her money. I was like, here, take some more money. I gave a little money last week. I'm giving more, Me
too. I've already set up, an automatic donation every week or every month or something. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah.
But the whole groundswell of support, and thank God for it. It's about Kamala Harris, but it's also about Joe Biden's luck of the Irish. They were calling him senile. They were saying he's half dead. He's all this. He's a sly old coot.
Yeah, he did it just at the right. Yeah.
He did it the right way. They weren't expecting him to endorse Harris in his withdrawal speech. They were not expecting that. All the little coup plotters, they never thought that he would enthusiastically throw all of his support behind Harris.
And Trump's big mad now, And
it's funny as hell.
It is.
And I mean, he's just going to his normal deflection point of racism and bigotry and misogyny. It's like he doesn't know what to do, though.
Yeah, no, he has no other game plan. He's just a broken record. And I love the new slogan, "We're not going back." That's trending on Twitter right now. And I don't know if that was an intentional tagline, but it was excellent.
The way she delivered it, it didn't seem purposeful. Like it was just a good line in a speech.
Yeah.
And I think the crowd just immediately embraced it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it is a good tagline. And she has the opportunity to run a very positive campaign. And I think that's what people want.
And she'll focus on the issues, because when Democrats focus on reproductive rights and the Republicans are trying to take away Medicare and Social Security, that's she can focus on that.
We are so lucky, and I'm extremely mad about how they treated President Biden.
Yeah.
And I will hold a lot of grudges about how all of this went down.
Same.
But I am super grateful that Kamala Harris is the nominee and that we'll have a woman on the top of the ticket to talk about Roe, to talk about reproductive rights, to talk about abortion.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, apparently Trump is already really regretting and second guessing his choice of J.D. Vance as his running mate. And my feeling during the Republican convention was that the Trump people didn't even vet Vance. I really don't think they did. They just saw that, Peter Thiel would give them all of this money if they chose Vance. And they're like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. We'll choose Vance. Who cares?
Yeah.
And Vance has come with all this fucking baggage. And, he's got this long history, surprising for such a young guy. He's got this long history of saying all of this crazy bullshit about Trump and about women. And so, the big thing was in 2021, he went off on this, crazy tangent in several speeches and interviews where he was talking about how childless cat ladies are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And he says that the Democratic Party has been taken over by miserable cat ladies and, quote unquote, childless women.
Oh my God.
And the most offensive part of that is that he was saying that childless women don't have a stake in the country, which is a really vile idea.
It is.
That you need to have children to have stake in America.
But men don't count in that if men don't have kids.
Exactly.
And that's probably all we're good for him, is having children and waiting on these man babies.
Well, Vance has said so many crazy things. It's been interesting to see the childless cat lady comments from 3 years ago pick up some steam on social media and talk shows. They're talking about it on The View. And then Jennifer Aniston came out on Instagram, I guess her Instagram stories.
Yeah.
She kind of clapped back and she wrote, "I truly can't believe that this is coming from a potential vice president of the United States. All I can say is, Mr. Vance, I pray that your daughter is fortunate enough to bear children of her own one day. I hope she will not need to turn to IVF as a second option because you're trying to take that away from her too." So it's like a little shout out to Project 2025 because that's a huge part of the reproductive rights agenda of taking away IVF and making it harder for women or couples to conceive.
It's already way harder because, abortion is not an option in many states.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's life-saving and necessary health care. It's a necessary part of reproductive care. I think a lot of young women are opting not to have children because of that. But I do hope that the Swifties are starting to come for him because they're like, oh, hell no, And I hope Taylor Swift.
As soon as you mentioned cat ladies, the Swifties' ears perked up. They're like, "Uh-oh, what is mother gonna say?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh! And now the dog moms are like, "No, you don't come for." This guy is trash.
Taylor Swift did endorse Biden and Harris in 2020. She made cookies and everything.
Yeah.
I would assume she'll probably do the same this year. She'll either do a voter drive and keep it apolitical, or she'll just do a kind of a quieter endorsement.
I saw a really great TikTok that someone posted to Twitter, and I'll put the link for it in this podcast. This is number 178. And the woman said that a little bit over 20 million boomers have died since 2016.
Oh, I saw that, yes.
Yeah, but 40 million Gen Z people are now eligible to vote. And they're going to, of course, vote for Harris, So the numbers are on our side. And that's reassuring.
I hope so, because as we get older and all of these generations are coming after us, it's getting harder to determine political allegiances. The polling is getting so much harder because who are you going to call? Where are you calling them? Nobody answers their phone. I don't say shit when I answer my phone, and then I regret answering it because I get texts like, how are you doing? It's all spam shit. It's all scammers wanting me to invest in their crypto scheme, trying to make my friend. I don't know. But yeah, no one's going to answer their phone. Yeah, so we really have no idea how the Zoomers are going to... just judging from my son and his friends. That's a skewed sample, but they're liberal. Yeah, I hope so. All right, let's talk about the Royals. This week we didn't get a lot of Royals news, but we heard that the Invictus Games are going to be in Birmingham in 2027, and that was kind of a shock because it seems real unsafe for Harry and Meghan to go back to the UK, to say the least. But this decision was being made over the course of several months, and they were chaotic months for Washington politics. Yeah, true. I could see that they would be concerned that Trump could win and that America as we know it is over. So why throw in Invictus Games there? It's fucking true. Oh my God. It is true. Oh my God. So they went with Birmingham, and I think that the British government, even the Tory, because Prince Harry is very close to some of those Tory veterans people, they were making all kinds of promises about funding and new veterans programs and all that. So it went to Birmingham, and I'm just kind of can we not stress out about this? It's a ways. It's 3 years away. Yeah. Do we really have to get frantic about it? Because a lot can change in 3 years. Exactly. But the British press is already doing their crazy shit. Oh, is Meghan coming? Are they going to bring the kids? Yeah, that's whatever. So we talked about this on Zoom, and this is Karen, Amira, and Zakiya.
Is anybody surprised about the Invictus Games?
Yes. I was shocked.
I was, but then I wasn't once I read about the details. Their bid was actually really good. It was like 26 million. And also, like, if there was an issue with him going to DC, depending on like November, I can see not wanting to be in DC. Like, I just feel like it's a lot because even with, regardless of who is in the White House, security would be a nightmare. They would have to coordinate with Secret Service. They would have to coordinate with DC police.
Capitol Police, probably.
Like, that's a lot. If you think about it logistically, between the two, I can see why Birmingham won. I think his security will be fine because of the Invictus games.
I feel bad for Meghan having to go back there. Because I'm sure if it was up to her, she'd never set foot back in.
And, you know, considering that Frogmore Cottage is still sitting empty 1 year after they got kicked out.
So, yeah, you know, hopefully Amir's right. They'll have great security in Birmingham. You know, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It's too early to speculate.
I hope that Meghan never goes back there, but who knows what will happen 3 years from now.
For Invictus, she kind of, like, I feels like she really would want to be part of that because she's a real supportive force for Harry and everyone loves to see her. So I can't imagine she wouldn't go. But
the only other thing that I could see her going to is Charles's funeral.
Yeah.
This is all I'll say is that the British papers and like sources close to Prince William are already speculating about that and like what will happen when King Charles does die.
Yeah, and they've said repeatedly that William will next see his brother at his dad's funeral.
That's the next time and like last time that he'll ever speak to Harry.
Morbid.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry was interviewed as part of the ITV documentary Tabloids on Trial, which aired this week, and he talked about a lot of issues that he touched on in Spare, including the press showing his mother as paranoid when she was being hacked. And so he was, you know, addressing the fact that he's sued the tabloids as well. And he said that the tabloid press, even today, very much enjoy painting her as being paranoid. But she wasn't paranoid. She was absolutely right of what was happening to her. It's true. And it's not just the tabloids. His own brother called their mom paranoid back in 2021.
Yeah. In 2021, William made a public statement where he flat out called Diana paranoid. And like he had this real twisted, convoluted logic of the tabloids made Charles and Diana split up and because they contributed to her paranoia. Is William like brainwashed by his father or was he just doing Charles's bidding? Because I think that's what it was.
Maybe both.
Charles has been wanting to get Diana's Panorama interview taken out. But anyway, like that's just a huge digression.
Yeah, no, but that's relevant to this. We talked about that in episode 130, if anybody wants to go back and listen to let's talk 3 years ago. But yeah. I wanted to play this segment from Harry's interview where he talks about his rift with his family.
To what extent do you think that your determination to fight the tabloids destroyed the relationship with your family?
That's a hard question to answer because anything I say about my family results in a torrent of abuse from the press. I've made it very clear that this is something that needs to be done. It would be nice if we did it as a family. I believe that, again, from a service standpoint and when you're in a public role, that these are the things that we should be doing for the greater good. But I'm doing this for my reasons.
What do you think of their decision not to fight in the way that you have?
I think everything that's played out has shown people what the truth of the matter is. For me, the mission continues. Yes, it's caused, as you say, part of a rift.
I love what he says.
He's so great at explaining everything so clearly and calmly and just bringing it home what's going on. But he's very diplomatic, too. He remains diplomatic.
Yeah, he remains diplomatic. I hope that that's not how he really feels. Like anything I say about my family results in a torrent of abuse from the press. He's being abused by the press, of course, obviously, but he's also being abused by his family. And I think he knows that. He's just not going to say it.
Yeah. And the fact that he hasn't even gone no contact and still, well, he has with his brother, but he still gives his dad some chances. I think he realizes how toxic his childhood was. I mean, he obviously does.
Yeah, he's unraveling a lot. He's spent the past 4 years unraveling a lot. 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. Ever since he's met Meghan, he got in contact with real lawyers that don't work for his family. He started unraveling a lot.
Yeah, and when you first said that, I'm like, oh, you mean he's having a hard time? No, you mean he's unpacking it too.
Yeah, he's unpacking. It's not just about therapy, although I think therapy is a huge part of it. He's gotten lawyers. He's going about this very methodically of suing the press, but also getting some answers about Diana's situation in her last year. It's going under the radar in a lot of reporting, but he is looking into his mother's life and her death.
Yeah. It would be good if he could find out more and expose it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting that he is looking into it.
All right, let's move on to the comments of the week.
All right, my comment of the week was from the post about President Biden's address to the nation on Wednesday night. And I couldn't even watch the whole thing because it made me so sad.
It was really sad.
Yeah, he's just a wonderful president. And yeah, he's a sly old coot.
He's great. He accomplished a lot. He
has accomplished a lot, not just in the presidency, but throughout his entire career in public service. He's a good man. He's a decent man. He didn't deserve to be treated this way.
No.
So publicly. Anyway, so my comment of the week is from Lurker M. She wrote, "Thank you. I'm tearing up once again. The way he outmaneuvered them in the end to make sure his heir, Kamala, had a shot was just masterful. Also, I too have a list of the coup crew, and they can fuck all the way off."
Yes, exactly. Yep. We're going to remember.
Yep.
It was really sad, and it's hard to, I have a lot of enthusiasm and just hope in Kamala and what's coming next. It's great that it turned out as well as it did, as fast as it did. But it feels like, we're still mourning what happened to Biden, and that wasn't fair to him at all.
Yeah, we're capable of doing multiple things all at once. We can be super happy for Kamala Harris and super engaged in her campaign and all in. And we can also acknowledge that Biden got a really raw deal and that none of this was guaranteed. It wasn't going to turn out this well if the Democratic backstabbers had their way.
Yeah. All right. My comment of the week is on Kismet's post covering June Squibb's interview. She's promoting Thelma, and I talked last week about how that's one of my favorite movies of all time now. And Light Purple said, "Thelma is my favorite movie of 2024. See it if you haven't. Watch it again if you have. June Squibb is leading contender for the Best Actress Oscar." I truly believe that this movie should get a Best Actress Oscar for June Squibb, Best Supporting for Richard Roundtree. It just was a great film. I can't say enough good things about it. It's so rare that I see a movie where I'm like, oh God, I got to see that again and again. And that's how Thelma was.
Okay. I will watch it. I promise I will watch it.
Okay, yeah. Whenever.
In between Olympics and stuff.
Whenever you want. It's fine. If you don't want to, you don't want to. Like you like stuff.
I'll watch it.
All right.
I'll watch it.
I'm not trying to press you. I just found that comment. I was like, okay, I'll put that comment in here.
No, I'm sure that she will get nominated.
Yeah, she's great.
She's like an early contender. Plus, the Academy loves giving nominations to like super old actors and actresses.
And this comeback, yeah.
Remember Jessica Tandy winning an Oscar?
Oh, no.
Didn't that happen?
Let me look it up.
For Driving Miss Daisy, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. She won 1990. I was in college, and I missed a lot of the pop culture stuff when I was in college because I wasn't watching as much TV. We had VCRs back then, so I wasn't bothering as much,
Well, I watched so many more movies when I was in college because the movie theater was not that far away, and that's what you did.
Oh, nice.
You went to the movies with friends, and plus movies were a lot cheaper back then too.
Nice. Yeah, they were. I would go to the movies occasionally, but I didn't go as much because I was, partying and stuff.
I remember going to Pulp Fiction on opening night.
Yeah, I saw Pulp Fiction in the theater when it came out. That was a trip. I saw Clerks in college. I remember seeing that. I was like, what is this movie? It's so weird.
Yeah, what movies did I see in college? I saw Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yeah, definitely saw that. I was out of college by then, though I'm older than you.
And, I remember seeing As Good as It Gets in theaters.
I saw that in theaters, too. I was also out of college, but that was a weird one. Like, it felt older. You know what I mean? It felt like about old people stuff.
I remember seeing it because I was a big Greg Kinnear fan.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yay, Greg Kinnear. And I was like, oh my God. But he got an Oscar nomination for that.
Neat.
He was cute in it too. Anyway.
I haven't seen it since it came out, but I did see that one in the theaters.
There are parts of it that don't hold up, but Jack Nicholson's performance is really good, and so is Greg Kinnear.
Yeah. And Helen Hunt was in it? Is that who's in it?
It was, what's her face? She was in Twisters. What is her name? Oh my God. Helen Hunt?
Yeah, I said Helen Hunt. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
I thought you said Ellen something.
I said Helen Hunt. I'm speaking low. 97 that came out, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.